Are you on the fence about buying a home just because the interest rates skyrocketed? You're not the only one. In this video, I'm gonna go over what a rate buy down is and how we can manipulate that interest rate in order to give you the best deal possible. A temporary rate buydown is a credit paid by the seller to the buyer that subsidizes the loan for the first few years. So that's gonna offset the interest rate. Now there's a couple different rate buydowns. The first one is a 1-0 buydown. That's where the interest rate is reduced by 1% in year one only. Then there is a 1-1 buydown. The 1-1 buydown is the interest rate is reduced by 1% in year one and 1% in year two. Then there is a 2-1 buydown, which is where the interest rate is reduced by 2% in year one and 1% in year two. And then finally, there's a 3-2-1 buydown. That's where the interest rate is reduced by 3% in year one, 2% in year two, and then 1% in year three. Now, what is the eligibility for this? And is it gonna work in your situation? The loan eligibility, typically it's a conventional loan, but there are some scenarios where FHA and VA are qualifiable. It's typically for a primary or secondary residence, and it's gotta be a fixed rate, so it can't be like an adjustable rate mortgage. And then it's also in between 1 and 4 units, so you can't do this on like a 5-plex or 10-plex or anything that's above 4 units. Now, with that said, this isn't something that you have to remember. Your lender is gonna help walk you through this process and whether or not that'll work for your situation. Now, what are the benefits for the buyer? Well, the most obvious one is that you're gonna have a lower interest rate for either 1, 2, or 3 years. Now, that's gonna be a benefit to you, obviously, because you have a lower mortgage payment, but also, even after that 3-year mark, you're still gonna have a fixed rate, so it's not like you're gonna be going up to like a balloon payment in like what we call a contract for deed. So sometimes we have situations where you have a lower interest rate for 5 years, and then you have that balloon payment, or the remaining amount of that purchase is to be expected on that date. So with this one, you're not obligated to pay off that full loan amount after this rate buy down is over with. So for the first 3 years or 2 years or 1 year, you're gonna have that lower interest rate just to offset these high interest rates. Now, people utilizing these buy downs are typically anticipating 3 things. Number one is they are anticipating a pay increase with their employment, so they're gonna be making more money to offset that buy down in the future. Or they have some sort of like credit card or student loan that they're trying to pay off, or they're anticipating to refinance after that 3-year mark to get a lower interest rate. Now, moving over to the benefit for the seller. The benefit for the seller is that the money that they are utilizing or writing off as a seller concession is gonna go much further for the buyer. So that's gonna expand the buyer's ability and affordability in the price range that your house is in. So just for example, let's just say you got $5,000 seller concession, meaning that the seller is gonna pay the buyer $5,000, let's just say of their closing costs, okay? That looks great to the buyer. However, that $5,000 is gonna go much, much further because you're talking about principal and interest on the mortgage payment. The biggest hindrance in the buy downs and why they aren't utilized as much as they are is because it's not relayed to the buyer as well as it could be. So really it's just a lack of education in relaying the information and the benefits in what a rate buy down can be. Now, additionally to the seller, now a big question is, how is this all implemented? And to be quite candid with you, it's nothing that you have to memorize. Even watching this video, it's not like I expect you to retain this information, but rather just be aware of an option that a rate buy down can do for you, because it can help you afford, say, a higher priced home or a home that's within your budget at a more comfortable pace because you're paying less interest on that loan for either 1, 2, or 3 years. Now, just to give you some context on how prevalent this really is, Redfin tracked the data for 2022, and 41.9% of sellers gave some sort of seller concession. So that could have been closing costs, that could have been the rate buy downs, or a million other things. But that's a really large chunk that sellers are utilizing these tools in order to make that transaction materialize. So this isn't like uncommon, this isn't out of place. It's rather just like a tool in your tool belt that you can utilize on your home purchase and home sale. I know this is a lot of information, but my whole goal in this is just to give you a tool that you could utilize in your home sale or home purchase. I hope you find it valuable. Please subscribe. I'm always trying to give as much value as possible. I just hope that you enjoy the information, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Cheers.